Every year on the 3rd of June, Australia marks a day most people have never heard of. No long weekend, no public holiday, no fireworks. It's called Mabo Day. And the man it's named after never lived to see a single one. So when is Mabo Day, and why does it matter? It lands on the 3rd of June, and it's not random. It's the exact date the High Court of Australia tore up a lie the entire country had been built on. One man forced them to do it. A Torres Strait Islander? A gardener? Here's the part that should stop you. By the time he won, he'd already been in the ground for months. Who is Eddie Mabo? Start at the beginning. Eddie Koiki Mabo was born in 1936 in a village called Lass, on Murray Island, in the Torres Strait, the string of islands between the tip of Queensland and Papua New Guinea. His mother died 5 days after he was born. He was raised by his uncle in the island away on Meriam land. And on Mer, land wasn't a vague idea. Every family knew exactly where their gardens ended and the next began. Those boundaries were law. They'd been law for longer than Australia had existed. Then Mabo came to the mainland. He cut sugar cane. He laid railway track, he worked the pearling boats, and eventually he took a job tending the grounds at James Cook University in Townsville. That's where it started, because Mabo didn't just mow lawns, he read. He sat in on lectures. He spent his lunch breaks buried in the library, studying what white historians had written about his own people. And in 1974, 2 of those historians sat him down and told him something he could not accept. The land on Mer, his family's land, the gardens he could still draw from memory, wasn't legally his. Under Australian law, it was Crown land, the government's, and it always had been. No way, he said, it's not theirs, it's ours. That's what Eddie Mabo did with the rest of his life. He set out to prove it. Stories like this are the whole reason True Blue education exists. If you're into the history they skip over, hit that subscribe button. In 1982, Mabo and 4 other Murray Islanders took their claim to the High Court. The case was Mabo versus Queensland, and it went straight at a doctrine called terra nullius, Latin for land belonging to no one. It was the legal fiction Britain used to claim the whole continent, the idea that before the Europeans arrived, Australia was empty. No owners, no law, never mind the people who'd been here for tens of thousands of years. Queensland fought it hard. The state even passed a law to wipe out the claim retroactively without a cent of compensation. The High Court struck it down. It breached the Racial Discrimination Act. But the case ground on. Evidence, hearings, 10 long years, and on the 21st of January 1992, Eddie Mabo died of cancer in Brisbane, 5 months out. He missed it by 5 months, because on the 3rd of June 1992, the High Court delivered its verdict. 6 judges to 1. Terra nullius was a fiction. The Meriam people held native title, rights to their land that had survived British settlement and had never been lawfully erased. For the first time, the law of this country admitted the land had owners before the First Fleet ever dropped anchor. That date, the 3rd of June, is why Mabo Day exists. It's not the day he was born, it's the day he won, the day a gardener beat the Crown. The next year, Parliament passed the Native Title Act, opening a path for Indigenous Australians to claim traditional land right across the country. And the Mabo decision became one of the most important rulings in the nation's legal history. This is exactly the kind of story we live for at True Blue Education. Do yourself a favour and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Today, Mabo Day falls at the close of National Reconciliation Week. It's taught in classrooms now, though the version kids get is usually the tidy one. And here's the kicker. For all its weight, it's still not a national public holiday. Officially, only the Torres Shire marks it. Many in the Torres Strait have spent decades asking the rest of the country to catch up. But the story doesn't end clean. 3 years after Mabo died, his family held a memorial on Mer. The night after, his grave was desecrated. Swastikas, racial slurs, his bronze portrait ripped from the headstone. So they took him home and buried him again on the island he'd spent his whole life proving was his. He never got to stand on Mer and call that land his own in the eyes of the law. But every 3rd of June, a whole country says his name, and the land he fought for finally answers to it.